Music Pod.
2 shots. 2ShotsmusicPod at gmail.com for 2 shots and a royalty check. If you send that to 2ShotsmusicPod at gmail.com, this email is sponsored by Venmo. Your money, your move.
Oh.
Yes. So here is the email of the week. It is Stu.
Yes.
This question's for you.
Oh.
Are music conferences worth it?
Ooh.
Welcome to 2 Shots and a Royalty Check. Quick Shots. Brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death. Murder your thirst. Now let's quickly get back into it. Ooh.
I think it's a maybe on this one.
That's funny because that's what every lawyer answers at music conferences.
Well, here's what I think about music conferences. I think it has to, like, number one, if you're banking your entire musical fortune on going to a music conference, that is not the right way to go about it. But,
no.
I'm a firm believer in the community of musicians, and that part of being a successful, wide-reaching, creative person is building relationships with people, and it's a lot easier to do that in person with like-minded individuals. So, in that way, music conferences are a great investment in your growth as an artist and as a performer, because you're going to meet people you would never meet on your own. But I guess it depends on the music conference, and it depends on what your goals are.
Yeah. I would say generally, if you're not spending money on releases, don't spend money on a music conference. If you're in a position to where your band is making good money, your artist project is making good money, and you have the finances to take a trip, and it turns out that there's a $500 music conference at that place, yeah, go ahead and do it. Be around other musicians. Try to make some connections. I used to go to all of them. South by Southwest, Madame in France, the ASCAP one, BMI, all of them. The Durango Songwriters Expo, and then I've been a speaker at many of them. I've been a panelist at a few of them. Here's where I will be completely dead honest with everyone. Do not think you're going to get signed. You are not going to make a deal at a conference. A conference is to solidify a deal you've already made. You won't know this the first conferences you go to, but I will tell you as someone who went to them professionally, what you want to do is sign up for a conference, work everything beforehand, and be like, oh, by the way, I'm going to be in Austin. Let's get a drink. Like, finish the deal at the conference. And that is much easier than setting up an appointment at an office or something like that. It is more drinks-oriented, late-night kind of stuff. Now, Duranger's songwriter conferences are a little bit different. That's where you can really get close to other creators and writers, and that helps you with co-writes and opportunities. Sort of those general conferences, most of the information is not brand new. Most of the panelists won't give you hard answers. They won't give you yes or no's. It's a whole lot of maybes, and I will also say that if you go to a conference where you're pitching your music, and I can just tell you this from experience, it is really hard to give you an honest answer if your music is finished. So say you bring your full CD or whatever the streaming thing that you have, and you're already done with it, and you're like, I just want some feedback on this. Yeah. It's going to be hard for someone to give you honest feedback with finished music.
Because there's really nothing you can do with it.
Because nothing you can do with it, or I just basically know you don't have 10 grand to do it again. And that might be the answer. Yeah. The answer may be you need to do it again. Yeah. And you really don't want to hear that. That's going to bum you out. And I know that, it's not feasible. So I would be very careful about music conferences, but having said all that, if it's something where you're trying to apply as an artist to go and play, do that. Try to play one. Again, You're probably not going to get signed. You're not going to get a deal. But in some of those cases, you will extend your network if you're playing music at a conference, if you've been chosen, and you have the money to do it. Obviously, book gigs around it if you
Routing.
can. Routing, that would be great. But, I do get this from a lot of people that they think that a music conference is going to get them ahead. And just understand that what they're meant for is to create communities that have more information. Well, that's the internet. And so there's a lot of areas where you can get this information right now. So don't pay all the money to go and think you're going to get some sort of an insider point of view on something that you couldn't get elsewhere, or setting up a Zoom call now. But yes, go if you have the money and you're taking a vacation anyway and you want to be around musicians. That's the glory of music conferences to me, is hanging out with other musicians in the bar, ending up in hotel rooms.
But you don't need to go to the conference to do that. That's the thing. You can go. You can go to the bar after. Go there for a vacation and go to the bar afterwards. And say, hey, what do you do? Totally. That's all. I often found that about whenever I would go for the many years I was inebriated at the NAMM show. Because it was I knew a bunch of reps there, and literally I would go to the show for a couple hours, see the same shit, different pile from this, and wonder if that was Nikki Sixx walking by me. Hint, it wasn't. And then go to the Hilton bar afterwards and hang out with Kerry King from Slayer or something weird, and be like, hey man, how's it going? And the one thing I found was a lot of the people that are playing professionally in the music industry don't often want to talk about music.
No, that's right. Talk about sports, or talk about something other than it, like your coin collection.
I'm a philatelist.
A TV show. Yeah, what are you Netflix and chilling to? Because yes, do not. God, and Jesus Christ, if you go to NAMM and you nail your favorite guitarist on his pedal board or her pedal board or their chain, that is a sure way to get someone to fucking hate you. The last thing a guitarist wants to talk about is their pedal board setup to you.
I don't mind talking about gear and stuff, with especially with newer artists that are like, hey man, I got this thing and I just was curious what you thought about it. Because asking me questions is kind of like a learning experience. I don't mind that, but I'm not going to stand there and have a conversation with somebody. But the number of people I have become friends with talking about motorcycles is ridiculous.
Yes, yeah.
And it also, oh yeah, you play music too? Oh cool, yeah. Where are you playing next? Oh, I'm playing Thursday here. Cool, I'm gonna come by and say hi. What are you riding these days?
Yeah. Or just about life, about and in the sync world, people are so desperate to meet a sync agent and people that are in licensing and try to get in there. And I'm going to give you just a complete hint here. Most sync agents, your day is spent saying no. Most supervisors, your day is spent saying no. So you want to make sure you have a good relationship with those people, because you want to know that it's cool enough for you to go, I heard it, it's not for us, thanks. Yeah. Move on, and they're not going to take it personally. And that comes with knowing that person's favorite soccer team is Chelsea. Yeah. That comes with kind of knowing that person, is what they're really into in their off time is watercolors and shit. They're a fully realized human. Yeah, that isn't just doing this. And that is so hard to hear as a young musician, I know, because you're out there hustling. You just think one break's going to make it, and it's really not. It's a series
of smaller breaks.
Think. Yeah, and so get to know people, find out about them. Here's the other thing. You tell me if you agree with this. Whenever I speak to people who are very big in the music industry, especially players, I never talk to them about my music or their music, but I may talk to them about someone else's. Mm-hmm. And that, because you should be well versed in what the fuck's going on in the music world. But all of us want to hear about somebody else. All of us want to hear about, I saw this chick the other night. little 200 venue. Holy shit, she was amazing. This was the song that she played in the... You go on about that. It's not about you. It's not about their world tour that they're on. Like, that's the shit we want to talk about, is someone else's music. Or the new Taylor Swift song. You know, something different than what we're all doing. You know, that is a major bonus point.
I agree with that. Again, it's the try not to be a salesperson in those moments. You know?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like, I'll give you an example recently of, like, it has to be, if you're talking to your friends or somebody you want to, you know, have a relationship with, they have to know it's okay to say no to you. I reached out to, I think I reached out to you, and I reached out to another person about getting somebody. I wanted to do the guest rapper bridge on something I was working on. And I reached out to you and I reached out to another friend of mine who has got a hold of some larger artists, and he asked me, he's like, do you want somebody that's known, or do you want somebody that's like, said, I don't care. And I said, and feel free to tell me to fuck off. You don't feel comfortable with that. It doesn't affect my relationship with you or my friendship with you at all, whether you say yes or no to this. You know, I appreciate it. But I also know that can be like, I'm being a friend to somebody and caring about them. I understand that might be a sticky slope to get onto with somebody in a certain position, because I want him to protect his relationship with that person, because it affects his livelihood, you know, and yours. So understanding that helps you navigate those waters. I had another conversation with a friend the other day who had somebody get mad at her, a friend of hers get mad at her because they asked for some help with some work, and she said, sure, here's what it costs. And they went, I can't believe you're going to charge me. She's like, but this is my job. This is my livelihood. And like, her friend was literally offended that she would charge her for her services. It's the same thing. If you care about somebody and you care about their livelihood and their, and growing a relationship with them, you will not want to fuck them over whenever you get the chance. And you won't just be looking to leverage your friendship.
And like with your song that we're looking for, I've got one no and one I turned down so far. I'm waiting on the other two.
They were both mine.
One was just a no. One was just a no. They don't like the song. That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't mean that...
because I wouldn't want you on it anyway. And the other one wants a $1,500 feature fee. And they're not worth it.
Wow.
And I know that, and I know you, and I know the song, and I know what we're going to do and try to pitch it and all the rest of it. So it's like, nah, that's not the area this is. This isn't like a label release or anything.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah.
For putting down 16 bars. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, that's so I told them no.
Yeah.
And that may be a thing where it comes back around where they're like, well, I don't know, maybe how much. It comes back down to 300.
Yeah, and then it's a different conversation. But again, it's like, I'm not looking.
But it's an unreleased song, not on a label. It's like easy, Chief.
But I also respect that. I'm not mad at that person for that being their rate. That's not at all. But I get to.
Not at all. And if you can get that,
fuck yeah,
awesome.
do it. I also understand.
Yeah, I don't want, and I think this is the way you and I both think too, and that this is instructive for people to hear. If you can get that, good. I don't want to waste your time. That's not what we're doing on this one.
Actually,
if it was, it's a yes. We move on. Tracks are done. We go. And if not, it's like, oh, hey, cool. Right on. Thank you. We move on.
Exactly.
So that's where that stands.
And it doesn't affect my view of somebody. But I also understand, like, if this is a person who's like coming in and they're making their living as an artist, and the only way they make money off of art is this piece of art that they're going to create is in that moment. This is what it costs, and I never say I don't get any royalties. I don't get to do anything with this after this. This is yours now. I get a piece of the songwriting or whatever. Right? There's a certain limit to what they can do with that guest work or whatever. Right? And so I understand billing high on the front end because you don't get to do much with it afterwards. So, you either make your money now or you make your money in perpetuity over the next 20 years.
Well, and sometimes it's just like, this is
Yeah.
my rate, and that's what my rate is, and you know, I get that. In the same way.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's fine. And that is a quick shot from 2 Shots and a royalty check. Hey, check us out, 2ShotsmusicPod.com or at 2ShotsmusicPod anywhere you follow things. Email us, 2ShotsmusicPod@gmail.com, and let us know if you want more of these. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later.